Hey Stitches, it's me, Fairy Godfather. Today's episode is about the emotional support chicken. If you are already in the fiber community, you probably know what that is. If you're not, you probably don't. I just wanted to be clear from the outset that this is a video about the emotional support chicken and not the Netflix show, The Three Body Problem. There are some similarities, and I may talk about the show a little bit, but I don't think I really do that much. I just want you to know what you're getting into. And I kind of keep getting too excited and just descending into random clucking. Muck, 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 chicken, 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 muck, 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 chicken, chicken, chicken. Because that is how obsessed with the emotional support chicken I am and how supported I feel by their existence that I basically want to be one, as well as devote the rest of my life to only making emotional support chickens. So this is the problem aspect of them is just how addictive they are and how fun they are to make. So we're going to get into it a little bit now. Forgive the choppiness. This was sort of filmed over several days and there's 3 chickens. And as I said, they've kind of taken over my heart, soul, mind, and very will. So it's really the chickens that are making this video more than I am. Anyway, you'll see. Here we go. Enjoy. Okay, sorry. I actually do a terrible job contextualizing or explaining this for new people or non-knitters. This is the emotional support chicken pattern by the Knitting Tree LA. I don't know much about them. As you can see, it says, life is hard. We all need a chicken to help make it better. So true. This is a modification of a pattern by the late Bev Galaskas for Fiberlands called Henrietta and Family. Okay, so this chicken has been taking the knitting world by storm, and everybody's making a chicken. So you make it in all these pieces, and then you sew it and assemble it, okay? Chicken! My goodness. So this is what they look like disassembled and what you just saw. So I had to go out. I'm in Montreal to get stuffing. And at the store, they did not have safety eyes. I need to tell you this story more in a second. Okay, sorry. I forgot to tell everything about this while I was actually making the video. So I'm in Montreal. So I'm in this art store trying to speak French. So I'm trying to ask them if they have these safety eyes. So I'm a little bit timid and I'm excusez-moi. And this is where I accidentally got overly tough. I kept being avez-vous des yeux? Des yeux? Yeux means eyes. So I'm just going, avez-vous des yeux? Des petits yeux? Pour les poupettes? And poupettes are dolls. So I was asking for doll eyes. She understood what I meant and took me to the right area. But it turned out that they didn't have them. So this is the point. There were no safety eyes. There were no yeux pour les poupettes at the art store in Montreal. Hey everybody, something just arrived. It's the eyes for my chickens, so I can finally assemble them and put everything together and stuff them. I can't wait. I'm so excited. I'm gonna meet them. Well, I have just had a look at the eyes and can I show you? They are literally just glass eyes. And I thought that this was a sticker. And I was like, oh, are they stickers? That's not going to work very well on wool. But then when I tried to pull this sticker off, it is just the actual eye, is a sticker. So these are just glass what's that? A hemisphere? Semicircle? Semispherical? Glass eyes with stickers on the back. This is not what I thought. I have no idea how I would affix this to a chicken. How would I affix this to a chicken? So I've decided I can't wait any longer. I'm just going to take the buttons off the sleeves of my shirt. That'll give me, this will be one chicken. The other sleeve will be another chicken. And then I found 2 other buttons that I had lying around that will be for the 3rd chicken. So my chickens, at least the first 3, are just going to have button eyes because that is what I have on hand. Okay, I just wanted to show you, I have here 2 underside chickens. 2 underside chickens. 2 undersides of chickens. This pink one goes with this chicken, which is going to be for Sophia. And this one goes with this chicken. Why am I showing you those? Oh, because on the original, now she is the original, as yet unnamed, I And the second half, I made it too short, which I should have done this while it was flat. But like you're supposed to do the decrease and then there's like 3 rows and then you do the decrease again and you do 3 rows, which is like what you're doing with the increases on this side when you're making it bigger. And I forgot to do those 3 rows or I misread it. So it wasn't as like symmetrical as these. The top half was like a lot shorter. And then also I sewed her together without watching the tutorial. There's no instructions about how to sew together in the actual pattern as it's written, which is a bit of a criticism. And like it tells you to put in these markers, but then there's nothing in the pattern that explains what they're for, except for one sort of blurry image that like implies what they're for. But if you watch the tutorial on YouTube, it obviously explains more. So I was actually like, you know, quote unquote, if we use the word should, I should have sewn her flat down like this and then started like the body piece should have started there, which it just seems so huge to me that I assumed it was supposed to like go in this chest part. So she has a very full chest and her stripes don't connect. But her new owners love her that way. They're already very attached to her. But she has not been given a name. But like literally, should I turn this around? Literally, we've been like in the midst of difficult conversation and my friend has said like, I need the emotional support chicken and gone to get her. Although if I'm being totally honest, this is a gay household and it has been referred to as the emotional support cock. Just saying. Hi. Okay. Chicken number 2 update. Eyes. Check. Comb. Check. I've sewed it like slightly more according to the tutorial in terms of like the order of where I did things. So you basically go like down the neck seam first to this point. Then you do the tail feathers. And then they kind of suggest you do like half of this bottom. I should really look at what the camera is seeing. Half of this bottom. And now I'm going to stuff it with all the polyfill. And then you just sort of close up this little hatch. The shaping is a bit weird. I knew I was off on one of these like chicken breast sides. So I'm expecting this chicken to be a little bit lopsided. But I don't think Sophia will mind. The same with the comb. Like I got it pretty centered, but like, I don't know. It has a bit of a, a bit of a wobble to it. But I think the beauty of these chickens is in their imperfections and like their obvious homemadeness. She also has a lot of like color play. Well, I'll show her to you more at the end. But I put in all these like little like wispies in this stripe that I might trim a little bit. Like that's a bit long. But I kind of like that texture that it adds. And there's like some mohair and stuff. So anyway, I'm hoping she will be fun. I will show her to you once she is stuffed. So this is chicken number 2. She is large. You see a little bit more how the body is supposed to work. Forgive my seaming. I just can't do it. I mean, I can do it, but like, anyway, I just prefer this like whip stitch that leaves kind of a bigger seam. I feel like with the visible seam that they have in this section, it kind of makes sense. Anyway, my yarn here was a little bit lighter. This is like the pink is the earth monochrome, which I love so much. And they do have it in DK and worsted, but if you know anything about knitting, you know that yarn weights are like basically a lie and really approximate at the best of times. So in the first chicken, who I am like belovedly naming Lady Tailfeathers, who's over there in the background, I was using like either like 2 thin DKs or 2 thin fingering weights or 3 fingering weights. Like I just was playing with the yarn sort of weight and holding different things together. And it made for a pretty thick fabric. Like I think the yarn was a little bit thicker than worsted probably is. This in some places I think is probably a little bit lighter than worsted is. Like the pattern calls for worsted and this might truly be DK. So you can kind of see the stuffing inside, right? Like it's a little bit loose. Her head's a little bit funny. I feel like her beak is a little bit shallow. Like I say, she's full of like weird quirks and like personal imperfections, but she's glorious. And she took a lot of stuffing. Oh my God, I kind of love her. Yeah, I love her weird stripes. I've been meaning to say, I guess I didn't say this elsewhere, like Sophia loves pink. Sophia is incredibly girly in lots of ways, and she loves like pink and Barbie and things like that. But she also, which I think she gets from me, loves zombies and skeletons and weird stuff like that. So I felt like including like some like of this like weird sort of olivey green and like the black. I just feel like, not that I would say that this is a zombie chicken by any stretch, but I think she might have some zombie heritage. She may lay a zombie egg or two, you know. Oh my God, I love her. Okay, I have to do number 3, like right now. Hey Stitches, it's me, Fairy Godfather, and I'm very pleased to introduce you to my first 3 emotional support chickens. Okay, one of the other things is that everybody is giving their chickens incredible names. I think in the tutorial video by the people who created this iteration of the emotional support chicken and this pattern, they named theirs Jennifer Lopez. Najiri has named hers Stanley Cluck. I saw one that was Yoko Ono, but with the yolk like an egg yolk. Like there's just so many clever punny names, and there's so much pressure to come up with one like that. I admit that in my heart, I named her Lady Tailfeathers, but I always knew that she was going to be given up to adoption to my friend Braden. So I let him name her. And it's funny, like one of the first questions, well, here, I'll show you the video of where I left her when they got home yesterday. So here she is, my very first chicken, all stuffed and sewn. I always intended her as a gift for my friend whose apartment I'm staying in. He is going to be back in a few minutes. So I am just going to put his new emotional support chicken here on the bed. And he will meet her shortly. And I think I'm going to let him name her. It feels a bit weird for me to do it because she's not going to be mine. Oh my God, I love her though. I love her. So one of the first things they asked me within minutes was like, what's her name? And I was like, you should name her. Like, I don't feel like I should do it. So she's the first one. I have explained elsewhere, I think, about this chest thing, and she's a little understuffed. If I'm being honest, I kind of want to give her surgery. I kind of want to open her back up, like stitch this together, stuff her more. Like she needs more stuffing, I think, and kind of like adjust the bottom. So that's part, like there is a significant size difference, even though the pieces are the same. And that's to do with like the yarn weight, the sewing, like the shaping of this piece, but also how I seamed it. You can see my thick seaming style here. To be honest, it's just like by the time I get to the bottom, I can't do it anymore. Like it can be like somewhat invisible. Like this throat is pretty good. Like the actual tail seam is pretty good, but well, but like by the time we get to the bottom, just trying, I don't know. I also feel like this helps it sit flatter. Anyway, you can see the size difference between the two. And then, so this is for Sophia. I feel like this is her fun side. I love this side of the tail the most. But I like giving them kind of asymmetrical tails. Like on Lady Tailfeathers, it's the same. And she's pretty symmetrical. And because I had enough of the yarn that I could like still plan it that way, the rest have been a little bit scrappier. Yeah, she's so busty. Like she's so bust forward, this chicken. Can she be in this tree? No. Oh my God, guys. Oh my God. I'm so happy. I just want to show them on the screen all the time and just dance with these emotional support chickens. So, as you can see, I'm completely obsessed. Now, do you see why I'm calling it a problem? Like, it's not all just emotional support, it's also obsession. Like, I've not eaten food today because I've just been making chicken, you know? So, yeah. So, she's a little less symmetrical. Her yarn is a little bit DK, and then it made her spread out a little bit more. That's not a hole, by the way. It's just like a little goober of white yarn, but it's fine. So like I say, she's like flawed and weird, but so are we as humans. This is why we need emotional support. And I just feel like Sophia's gonna love her. I feel like Sophia is going to love this chicken. But time will tell. I certainly wouldn't be the first to think their child was going to love something that they didn't. And this is my third one. And in some ways, rapidly becoming my favorite. I feel like the eyes are like a little high up and a little far back compared to the other two. Chicken! Can't stop doing that. But you know what I need to do? Stop doing that. Yeah, so anyway, this is my third and final. I think she is the biggest. Her like this is the most correct in terms of like the shape of this piece and the shape of all the pieces. I know because it was my third time doing it. I know that I was actually like correct and like got everything right this time. And so this shape is actually the truest. Like on this one, the shape of the body piece was fine. So the actual shape of that was the best, but I know that one of these side pieces was off. I got mixed up with the wraps and turns and like where I was, and I started doing it, I think, on the wrong side. So it started like building in a weird way. Whereas this one, I know that all the pieces were correct. So it's funny to me, like obviously it's just a seaming error, but this part got a little wonky. And I had to seam with a different color yarn because I was out. And again, like my seam, actually this one is kind of my favorite. It's still a bit visible, but like, I don't know, it just sort of sits nicely. Clear stomach area. I love how everyone's calling it the belly. I like how this little bit of yellow like matches up with the other yellow. There's mohair just in the belly, just to give it that little extra bit of softness. So I do kind of love this one. Guys, look at my chickens. So, look, the emotional support chickens have been taking the knitting world by storm. But what I'm finding kind of the most fascinating and amazing is how people in the non knitting world are also taking to them. So my brother is already obsessed. I'm going to visit him next month. He's already asked for, I think, at least two. Like he wants to give one to his landlady, and he wants some for their house. Like I don't know if his husband wants one too, or if they're going to share one. So I will definitely be making more and more and more chickens. I'm sure this is not the end. I've imagined that like I might even need to do a like dedicated section of the channel that's just for chicken videos, because I just know that these won't be the last three. They are only the first three of hopefully many. Anyway, and my friends here who I gave Lady Tail Feathers behind me to, they love her already. They have been asking for her and reaching for her. And who else? There was a third person who was also like, I don't know what it is about those chickens, but I just love them and I want one. And like, would you be able to make me one? And the answer is yes. I do have to do other things. So I'm trying to create a chicken embargo. This is another part of the 3 chicken problem. Like I only intended to make one and I ended up with 3. Much. Um, and I need to work on other things, right? I really want to work on other things. So I was gonna just say a chicken moratorium, but I don't think I can do it. I do think I will make another chicken, perhaps even while I'm still here. I have a bit of stuffing left. Like I bought 2 bags of stuffing. I used this polyfill. And I have about a chicken's worth left. So there may be a 4th chicken before too long. So stay tuned for that. Oh my God, guys, I need to go play with these chickens. So I'm going to stop this video now. Thank you so much for watching. I will be back next week with a regular episode of the Fairy Godfather Knitcast. On Monday, I am going to be dropping a Knit With Me video where it's just something that you can put on in the background while you're knitting. It'll just have me knitting and some music by the very talented Lucien Doré. So look forward to that. And then a regular episode of the Fairy Godfather Knitcast next week. Possibly more chicken videos if I make more chickens. Okay, thank you so much. Thank you for spending your time with me. Thank you for watching and happy knitting. Bye. And here we see the emotional support chicken in her new natural environment. Bark, 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 bark.